And welcome back to All Day Live. We're glad that you're here with us. It's 12:26 on this Friday, and we continue our coverage of the SNAP benefits, which we know will end tomorrow for the hundreds of thousands of people here in Minnesota and millions around the country because of the government shutdown. We wanted to take you to St. Paul right now, and joining me is, help me out, is it Andrea? Is it Andrea?
It's Andrea, yes.
Andrea Thomas, who runs Nourish Food Shelf. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
Yeah, so we want to talk about quite a few things with you, but first, it's my understanding that you actually had an opportunity to testify in front of the subcommittee on the federal impact on Minnesotans for things like SNAP. Is that right? And what did you have a chance to talk about?
That is correct. At the request of Second Harvest Heartland, I was able to testify before the Senate subcommittee, and what I shared with them was how things are going for food shelves, for those who visit food shelves, and how we're being severely impacted. There's not enough food right now to go around, but even more so, we are seeing our numbers increase every week. Every week we have new individuals and families come to the food shelf, and there are those who never thought that they would be at a food shelf. And so we were asking for help and letting them know just how this is going to impact everyone.
Yeah, Nourish is the food shelf that you run, and I want to learn more about that here in a minute. I'm curious, though, as you take a look at what you have right now, as you head into this weekend where we know that the SNAP benefits are going to expire, what are you seeing right now as you look at what you have, and how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling a little nervous, but we prepared as best we could, but I don't know that anyone can be fully prepared for what's going to happen. We have been fielding calls all week, and through the 211 system, and then just through word of mouth about our food shelf. And in the midst of even the SNAP benefits, we've had other emergencies happen in our direct vicinity that we've also responded to. And so it becomes a concern when we can't, first of all, get enough product from our food bank, and then our budgets are already stretched thin. So, but we're determined that we're going to serve everyone that comes through our doors. And it may not be that everyone takes away as much food as usual, but we want to make sure that everyone has something.
So tell us about Nourish. Who do you serve? Where are you? How many people are you serving?
Sure. Nourish is a food shelf that is actually a program of Mount Olivet Lab School Incorporated. We are located right at the intersection of Frogtown and the Rondo communities. We serve approximately 250 to sometimes 300 families at each distribution. We have our main distributions on Saturdays, but then also on Sundays, we do something a little different where we only serve senior citizens and those who are immunocompromised. And our reasoning behind that is that we know that our seniors can't stand as long as some of the younger neighbors. And then also those that are immunocompromised don't necessarily need to be in close quarters with everyone. So we reserve that time specifically on Sundays from 12:30 till 1:30. And then on Saturdays for our general distribution, it's 10 o'clock till 12. And then if we have calls come in through the 211 system, we will actually take appointments during the week for those.
Wow. So for instance, for tomorrow, what do people need to know if they wake up in the morning and they say, okay, I got to figure out what my options are?
Yes, tomorrow if we wake up in the morning and you need food, come to our address at 376 Western Avenue North in St. Paul. You don't need to bring ID. There are no requirements like that. We just, our only requirement is that, the person or the family needs food. We're trusting everyone to be honest about that, especially realizing the situation, and to be mindful that we're serving a lot of families. And so, we do that with respect, with kindness, and we want people to be able to shop with dignity.
I was reading just, and I'm sure these numbers are kind of generally speaking, but I was reading 250 families a week. You have about 1,000 individuals a week. Also, the senior high-rise building, schools, people who call the 211 number asking for food help as well. I mean, the community you serve is far and wide and great here. I'm curious how are people feeling as you're talking to people who are coming to Nourish? How are they feeling? What are they saying to you right now?
They are feeling anxious. You mentioned a list of, organizations that we partner with, that we serve. Part of what we do is we interrupt homelessness. So we have those that have just come out of being unhoused, and they are really nervous because, food is a great expense. But when you have to kind of weigh that against paying your rent, or seniors, when you weigh that against buying medication, one of the first things people will give up is food. But we know moms have to feed their children, and seniors have to have some kind of nutrition to be healthy, and our focus is to make sure that our community is well nourished. Yeah,
and we know there's not going to be there's no vote scheduled in Capitol Hill until Monday, so it looks like right now this will continue, and every hour or day that goes by is another hour, day without food for some people, or not enough food for some people. Can you let us know what is the best way for people who can help, they want to help? Is dropping off a bunch of food helpful for you, or is that more work? Is it money? Like, what is most helpful for an organization like Nourish?
Yeah, money, a financial contribution is the most helpful. We know that everyone's not able to do that, but for those that can, having a financial contribution is most helpful, because when we can purchase through our food bank. We can buy things in quantity that would cost a lot less than if someone were to just go to the store. But we know that, not everyone has that option. And so we're grateful for, whatever people can do. Also, volunteering is a great way to help. When we volunteer at Nourish, we understand that it is not self-serving. Although our volunteers, if they need food, they can get food, and we do the same amounts that those neighbors that are coming in would get, and so we just approach it with a heart of service.
And before I let you go, just kind of on a side note here, I wanted to follow up, because the last time our audience was introduced to you, or Maury Glover came out and did a story, it was about a year ago, when Nourish was actually forced out of that Mount Olivet Baptist Church location, and you were looking for a new home at that point. How are things going now for you, and in this current situation?
We've had about a good year with the Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. They opened what is known to most in St. Paul as the old Oberboys Club. However, they are about to renovate that building. And so in the midst of everything that is going on with cuts to SNAP benefits, we are also finding ourselves in a position of having to find a new space. That probably concerns us more than anything, because we need to be able to do this work. Nourish actually supplies about 40% of the food that actually goes out into Frogtown through food assistance. And so it's really imperative that we be able to continue that work in supporting families, so that we can build healthy community.
How much time do you have?
We have until the end of the year, till December 31st, but this is Minnesota, and so we want to try to make something happen before then, so that we're not moving items in the midst of bad weather. So
are you looking for a new location? Is there any way to remedy it so that you can stay in that location, or not?
It's not an option for us to stay in that location, because Union Gospel is growing, and some of their plans have shifted, and so we have to be adaptable to that.
So a new location is what you're looking for,
Yes.
Obviously preferably in the same area, so you can serve the same neighborhoods and people in that sort of Frogtown area.
Yeah. Preferably in the same area. We have a lot of neighbors that don't have transportation, and we haven't built our capacity to be able to deliver to all of them either. And so preferably in the same location, but when it really comes down to it, we really just need a space where we can operate.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're having to go through all of that on top of the situation that you're trying to navigate right now with the increased need and now this weekend and into next week. Hopefully it can come to an end shortly and people will get their benefits really quickly. In the meantime, we'll continue to check in with you and see how things are going, and let us know the progress of trying to find a new space. That's really, it's hard to hear that you're having to deal with that. We're really sorry. But thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Okay, all right, take care.